Welcome to the Squad Show. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Today I'm going to use the F word, fraud.
What's happening, Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman, and my mechanics at JJ McCarthy's mechanics are mechanically unsound.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. One of you guys going to beat me in this betting contest, right? This is a prank, right?
I've got a solution to that. Hey, this is Arif Hasan with WideLeft.Football. I've received a trove of emails. I'm looking for Luke Braun's name in them.
Skol! It's the Viking Squad. Everything Minnesota Vikings every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the land of 10,000 lakes. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. It's time to gear up. The Viking Squad Show starts now.
What's happening? Welcome into the Viking Squad Show on a Thursday on Locked On Vikings on the #1 sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So glad you joined us, whether it's live or on demand on the Locked On Vikings feed. We appreciate all those who watch, listen, comment, and subscribe. Commenters already filing in, the live audience filing in with us for the next hour. We do this Mondays, Thursdays, after the game on Locked On Vikings. You met the Lukes, you met Arif. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Today we compare the 22 Vikings to the 25 Bears. That's not a kind comparison. We talk about biggest exploitable and unexploitable mismatches in this upcoming game, plus Jalen Nailor's future and our Thursday Ron Johnson appearance. Plus I've got a winning parlay at the end of the show. We are brought to you today on the Viking Squad Show by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. I've got some stats for you, gentlemen. 22 Vikings. Now that, let me ask this first.
Is that the stat?
Now that
22?
it's 22. We're 3 years in the rearview mirror. I recall we were in year one of doing this show. We were in denial. We were saying, nope, this team's different. This team's not a fraud. It's in their DNA. They know how to win close. This is not luck. This is not a fluke.
We're all on that particular bandwagon, Sam. I recall there was a little bit of...
There's a little more nuance to it than that. All I wanted people to do was to talk about anything else once.
Yeah,
I didn't get that. So
yeah, well, and then I got you to talk about it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about the other stuff, but I feel like we wanted to believe in that team, and they were a paper tiger in the end. The Bears feel similar to me. Can we admit now that the 2022 Vikings probably had some fraudulent qualities?
Can we admit that?
Admit.
Yeah. I think we can become the bigger people and admit it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Swallow our pride.
They had a terrible defense and a coordinator got fired. Yeah, that was a pretty big problem that we talked about pretty much every week that whole year. I don't think we were in denial about Donatello.
Well, let me give you some comparisons.
And they won the division. Like that my point that whole time was like, man, they're like 8-2 and they're 4 games up in the division. It doesn't matter if they're frauds. They're winning it. Like they're going to be in the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
Yeah.
Real teams lose in the playoffs too.
No question that year was
Daniel
awesome.
Jones paid too.
The Vikings have been the best thing for Daniel Jones, huh?
Got paid 4 years too early. Now he deserves it. He did not deserve it.
Yeah, the Vikings always knew. They were like, you, buddy, you deserve all the flowers. But yeah, it came too soon. Success.
The timing. As with all things, the Vikings messed up the timing.
The Vikings heading into their 9th game. No, I'm sorry, heading into their 10th game. So they've played 9. They were a plus 35 point differential. The Bears are currently a -8. -8. That does not happen. Name that movie. Elf. The Vikings in their 10th game then lost by 37 to the Dallas Cowboys, 40-3, and went into negative point differential.
It's our time.
The Vikings are that team. The Vikings were 7-0 in one-score games through 9 games that year. The Bears are 4-1 in one-score games. The Bears are 7th in offense and 28th in defense. Those Vikings were 8th in offense and 28th in defense. And here is the biggest one. that tells me there is an avalanche about to bury the Bears and possibly that the Vikings can benefit from. The Vikings were a +8 in turnover margin through those 9 games. The Bears are a +14 right now. And what are the Vikings currently in turnover margin? Like
-7. It's horrible.
-7. The amount of karmic relief the Vikings deserve in the turnover margin is insane.
They're due.
And it all might happen. We might have a Cincinnati game. We might have a
I don't know if
Cincinnati
-7 is an unfair number for the way the Vikings have played.
They're due.
They're sloppy with the ball, and the defense isn't doing anything. Like
they're due.
It's I don't know. I think they have to make
You film nerds don't understand the way numbers work. They're due.
They're due.
Things just regress.
You can't be black 8 times in a row.
And when I say regress to the mean is actually the league average. That's what everything regresses to.
Yeah.
So,
everyone is due for a league average game. That's true.
That's how that works. The Bears are experiencing the positive regression in every sense. Like, if you look at the way that their 10-game losing streak went last year, they're losing on Hail Marys. They're like the clock's running out on the final drive of the game on them, last-second field goals, and it's all reversing itself. It's all reversing itself this year. So, Inman, is this like, are the Bears poised for a major regression to the Vikings' benefit?
Well, again, to your point, when you're living on narrow margin victories and blown leads and unsustainable red zone luck and things like that, it's pretty hard to put you in like the dominant or elite category when you look at the rest of the NFC teams, or all 32 teams for that matter. They can certainly be a dangerous team when things are clicking and the ball's bouncing their way, which it has been as of late. But the whole thing, to your point, Sam, it feels pretty fragile, I feel like. And yes, a lot of the same characteristics, a lot of the same blueprint as the Vikings wrote out in 2022. Obviously, they eventually landed into that fraud label that we're talking about. So right now, I just feel like the Bears look more like a team that's closer to good enough to win close games as opposed to, this dominant team. They're winning 1-score games, but they're not dominating anybody. They've given up a lot of big leads, whereas, again, dominant teams, they know how to step on the throat, run away with games in the fourth quarter. I know it feels like forever ago now, but week 1, they had I want to say 94% win probability rate that night, Monday Night Football. And I'm sure Bears fans still have that one in the back of their mind this week as they think about this matchup. But, I statistically, which I'm sure we'll get into right now, people look and see things like, oh, the Bears are top 5 in yards per game. Okay, that's cool. How about success rate? How about EPA per play? Third down conversion rate allowed, things like that. All much more important stuff. And all those things, the Bears have been very middle to low end of the pack. So there definitely are some similarities to 2022 for sure. Flashy, fun, splashy results, but I think super shaky and kind of volatile when it comes to efficiency and just being able to do these things consistently for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
Arif, if the Bears do regress,
go ahead.
Real quick, if the Bears do quote unquote regress, let's say they are 500 the rest of the way, right? And they're an average team and they win as much as they lose. They'd be 10-7. It's probably still a playoff berth.
No,
so
that's a playoff team.
That's why they're 6-3. You don't get the wins back, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, the question about regression here is not really a question about whether or not the Bears are going to make the playoffs. It's just a question about, how challenging of an opponent are they versus how challenging do we perceive them to be. So that's really all I care about. Like, yeah, okay, they'll make the playoffs, whatever. I've seen bad teams make the playoffs. I cover one of them, right? Like it's.
Let's see him take a couple off the Packers. That'd be nice then.
Yeah, that'd be fun. The kind of elements that stand out to me in terms of like how the Bears have been winning, are, well, first, like when you take a look at the film, it is a really messy offense to try and break down, right? It is built off of like being explosive and having these shot plays, but not having offensive tackles. Oh God, that sounds so familiar. Not having offensive tackles that have the ability to kind of hold up. And there's not a lot of options available. There's not a lot of like intermediate throws. And a lot of it is just kind of relying on Caleb Williams to just make magic happen. And so I was trying to see, like, is that kind of reliable? And I think over the course of this season, that hasn't been. It's just worked out here over the past 3 weeks. I was taking a look at elements like performance under pressure. This is a high value low resiliency stat, right? It produces a lot for you. If you're really good under pressure, it's really impactful, but it doesn't actually tell us how good you're going to be under pressure moving forward. Well, over the last 3 weeks in EPA per play, Caleb Williams is number 1 in the NFL when under pressure, right? I was taking a look at, and we know that like the way that he does it, he like scrambles and stuff like that. So I was taking a look at what happens when he's not under pressure, and he's 24th out of 30 quarterbacks when he's not under pressure over the past 3 weeks in EPA per play. And then I looked at things like over and under 2.5 seconds, because the whole deal with Williams coming out was that he's both good in structure and out of structure, right? And I can't know on a specific play whether, over 2.5 seconds or under 2.5 seconds counts as in or out of structure, but it's a reasonable proxy, right? So I took a look at what he's been able to do under 2.5 seconds over the last 3 weeks when trying to figure out, has he been able to do this within the confines of the offense that he's working with, right? And his success rate under 2.5 seconds, I pulled it up here, is 30. Okay, of 35, it's 33rd in success rate, right? It's a very explosive kind of we're scrambling, we're trying to get out under over 2.5 seconds, hit that deep shot. That was it, the end zone shot? Was it to Roma Dunze that Dunze just couldn't? No, it was DJ Moore couldn't quite haul it in at the end zone after he was scrambling to his right. Outstanding throw, just barely missed it. And I don't know how often you can expect, A, your receivers to make that catch, but B, how often that's just going to be there for you when you scramble. You take a look at the film, the receivers aren't getting open right away, so that might not even be a quality of Caleb Williams. I'm just saying when Caleb Williams drops back, it's difficult to find receivers who are open right away. So I don't think that the offense can continue at its pace. I would feel a lot more confident about what this means for the Vikings if Jonathan Grenard could more like consistently finish. That's probably going to regress positively, but all I know in the moment is that it's very frustrating to see him get to a mobile quarterback and then just kind of hang out there for a little bit.
Yeah, the one arm like swat across the shoulder just isn't getting it done. Is it Jalen Redmond still the sack leader? He was, I think, going into last week.
Well, they only had one sack last week.
Correct. Yeah, Jonathan Grenard DNP on Wednesday. His status would be up in the air. KOC, this is how things work. KOC on Monday gets up and says, "We avoided something long term. He might be available on. He's never available. If he leaves the door open like that, he's never available."
We'll see how the week progresses.
We'll see. We'll see how he does.
That's how life works. Yeah, we go day by day. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
To answer your question, Sam, yes, 4 sacks for Redmond still leads the team, and also if you remove Jonathan Grenard, Jalen Redmond is the next pressure leader with. Or no, I'm sorry, Jonathan Allen was 23. Then Jalen Redmond was 22.
He's so good. I think we jokingly in like July. We're joking about John Randall and like who could be the John Randall of this team? Someone that like in year 2 just comes out of nowhere, and we said Jalen Redmond's name. That's like, he's John Randall.
He's like legit like happening.
Yeah, we're super smart, basically.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's the conclusion.
Yeah, we might be better than the Vikings at determining who the good Vikings are.
You're really frustrated by that.
Yeah,
really they benched like 3 players that they've started week 1. They don't know who they want to. They've got an off-ball linebacker playing edge rusher right now. Like they're completely bewildered by their own roster.
No, it's their Quasian, not Bayesian. It's their Quasian mindset. They get new information. They change the equation. They change the inputs.
They're updating.
Where was this? What new information are you getting on Eric Wilson?
You got new information on Ivan Pace. That was the new information.
How did you not know? Like he didn't. These guys aren't playing any different than they've played the last couple of years. They're just changing their minds.
Well, sometimes you find out that your guard who's played tackle and guard his whole life suddenly can play center. Are you right when you find that out? Maybe not, but you find it out, and so you bench your centers to do that.
Yeah, and last year during the betting contest, I found out that the spread I took maybe was a bad idea. Did I learn and update new information? No, I was wrong.
Well, that's a you problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan Kelly's coming back. We're good. Don't worry about it.
Ryan Kelly might be coming back. There might be 5 relatively healthy starters hard to say that when you've got one of them with a balky knee, the other one's still recovering from a bad knee. One of them had wrist surgery. One of them had 2 head injuries. Other than that, totally great.
Besides all that.
Will Fries is a pillar of health. We've got there are a lot of interesting matchups in this game. There's a new left tackle on the Bears that we'll introduce you to. You probably have never heard of him. That's
Benedict.
next.
Let's go.
Gesundheit. We are brought to you today by Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects. That's so frustrating when that happens. While their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered, kind of like that Bears left tackle doesn't. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. It is so frustrating when projects take a long time. And with Supply House, they happen fast. Join the free Trademaster program today. Score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Rolling on the Squad Show. Thanks to the everydayers that tune in all week long to the Care 11 Show on Wednesdays, Ron Johnson on Tuesdays. We appreciate that very, very much. Let's get into the best matchups. Vikings-Bears. The Bears left tackle. It's not Braxton Jones, which is who they faced in week 1. It is Theo Benedict. He is check out this resume. He is a 6'7", former UDFA, who went to college at British Columbia.
Arif,
Who's got the scouting report on Benedict?
There you go.
Or
Not part of the
still muted.
Yeah,
three-way competition in camp, by the way. This is a totally separate guy from that.
Yeah. You know how Braun was upset that the Vikings couldn't identify their most talented players and kept benching people? This is like that, except they found someone less talented to replace.
It's like, yeah, kind of like bringing in a guy off the street to play cornerback for you because you ran out of guys because you only had 4 on your roster.
Duke Shelley was great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Rest in peace, Asante Samuel Dream, by the way. Signed with the Steelers practice squad.
Really?
I will say Benedict, not so sure, but Joe Tooney, been fantastic. Jonah Jackson, it's been really good for them. That offensive line is decent. You wish you had Grenard to go after Theo Benedict. We've got
so Benedict is one of the worst tackles in true pass block grade. So when you get rid of non-traditional non-standard dropbacks and you eliminate ones where like chips are helping, which I don't know why, but the Bears are chipping a lot with receivers and not with tight ends, and it's screwing up the everything. Keep it up. And it's like DJ Moore too. It's like, well, you've got like bigger receivers. Like anyway,
are they punishing him? Maybe
they might. I don't know, but like I feel like making him play running back every so often does that too. So like but
sorry, someone in chat said bro's name is half of the Sports Center jingle.
That's fantastic.
That's so good.
Emmer, thank you.
But yeah, he's so bad. He's so bad. Braxton Jones is way better. He's so bad, like right off the snap, he's losing like instantly. This is the weak point of this offense. Pretty good to decent to pretty good receivers. An explosive playmaker at quarterback. They lead the league, I believe, in explosive rate, right? And this guy, it's so bad. It reminds me actually of Clemmings. He's bad.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we can trade him Justin School. We can get a condition.
I think that would be an upgrade. I think School is better.
Other side of the line.
That'll hit.
Not much room to work on the other side. Darnell Wright's been really good. Got to have a big Dallas Turner game. Let's see if he can sack a quarterback without the body weight rule coming into effect. Let's get Ron Johnson in here. Ron on the road today. These are always fun. He's at 3 Ron Johnson. He's in the car. He's joining us here on the Squad Show. Ron, Jonathan Grenard, DNP yesterday with the shoulder. I would guess less than 50% he plays. I don't know what your spidey sense tells you, but if he's not playing, what do you think the loss is for the Vikings?
The game. The game is lost. Might as well just move on.
Whoa!
Next week. No. So yeah, Luke Braun has kind of affected me. It's contagious.
You should get that checked out.
I know. I'm headed to the doctor now.
Drive faster.
What did I do?
They
to
said
you this
it's you have to. They said in order to fight Luke, you have to positive, and then you'll be okay. Twice a day for 2 weeks.
You're breaking up a little bit.
It was kind of perfect. The moment he said the cure, it broke up. That was.
You turned it into a transformer.
That's
the cure.
I'm jamming the signal actually because I can't get that information out. I can't have that information.
Am I there now? Am I good now?
Yeah.
Better.
So when you look at Jonathan Gennard, I mean, he's a difference maker. He's an absolute terror. Him and Van Ginkel together continue to keep the quarterback at bay. Nothing against. Again, I'm not going to hate on Dallas Turner at all, but when he's manned up against offensive tackles, it just feels like his first move is his best move, and then after that, it's like, yeah, let's play patty cake because he doesn't really have a secondary like spin or rip or defeating the rib, breaking the forearm, and all that. So you lose the balance. I mean, to be honest, you lose a little bit of violence. I did see a couple clips where Jonathan Gennard went down to like a 5 tech and they had Dallas Turner outside of him. You lose that. Like who on that role, Gennard gets to be inside a little bit and go against maybe an inside move or a guard. It's tough. You have a guy that can run and Caleb Williams is willing to extend the play by getting outside the pocket. Jonathan Gennard was the best, I guess, keeping the quarterback in the pocket guys, and now you have to rely on somebody else.
Ron, the video is a little challenging right now. If you have any chance to relocate, I'm going to take you down just for a minute, see if you can come back and give another try. All right. Yeah, Gennard will be a loss. Let's do a Dallas Turner check-in. I know we've gone back and forth about this. Dallas Turner like making a lot of good plays and applying pressure. Obviously got to Lamar Jackson once, had a batted ball. Like good things are happening. Production still not incredible. Where are we at with the Dallas Turner check? Because he's going to have another major opportunity this weekend.
They've taken half of his snaps and given them to a guy that weighs 229 pounds. This is approaching DEFCON 1. This is not good. Like it's one thing when you're giving snaps to Van Ginkel and it's like, okay, well, he's making the Pro Bowl. It's like, I'm not going to hold that against you. But with Gennard out and with Van Ginkel out, Turner was losing snaps to Eric Wilson lining up, not as an overhang, not as like a blitzer, not a spice. No, just straight up as an edge rusher, folding in the front side of zone, playing edge. I don't think that's working.
I don't know why you're so against a safety playing edge rusher. It worked for Shaquem Griffin, man.
The snap counts, so they had, the partial bye to self-scout from the Chargers game. He played 53 snaps, went down to 14, granted with Van Ginkel, and then to 27, but wholly relegated to a bit role in this defense.
In that Eagles-Chargers thing, they had already started doing Eric Wilson, like using Eric Wilson in that way, which, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, not seeing what the problem is, because every time I, sit down, I'm like, let's see what's going wrong with Dallas Turner. I find it wholly inoffensive. It's fine. He's just doing whatever the play needs him to do, contain rush or whatever. Sometimes he gets a nice pushback on a tackle. He does that enough to make me not think that he's like this totally useless player. And then you get you look up and he's not playing the game anymore. And apparently they just hate this guy. So I don't know. I think when you're starting to put off-ball linebackers on the edge instead of your first-round edge, I think it's starting to be a little bit Jover.
That's dicey. That's dicey. Inman, what do you got for Ron Johnson?
Yeah, Ron, I think a lot of people tend to hang over McCarthy that this is technically his second season in the pros when we talk about his assessing his play or development, things like that. Obviously, he's only started 4 games in the NFL. How many games do you think we need to collectively give these young quarterbacks until we can say, okay, it's safe to assess whether this is our guy or not? 20 games, 30, 40? Like, what's the magic number? Is there a magic number?
I say 2 seasons. I mean, there's so many different defensive looks now. There's so many Franken-style type of pre-snap reads now that are needed to be done. You're seeing, I mean, honestly, when we did it with the Ravens, it was innovative. You know, Rex Ryan used to do that where he would put all 7 to 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, and everybody's like, whoa, what is this? You know, Ed Reed's up there and Bart Scott's up there. Ray Lewis is up there at the line of scrimmage, and at the snap, it's just cover 2. It was crazy then, and the Ravens ended up winning the Super Bowl by doing that. You look at, you know, the Jets tried to do it. They got to the playoffs, you know, back with the Bart Scott. You know, I don't know if you guys remember that. Can't wait. Similar defense, right? Now it's even worse. You know, you got guys putting linebackers in at the corner spot for cover 2. The speed of the game. So I'll just the interception, right? That 3rd and 6 interception. I put it out there on Twitter for Ron's review. And of course, 95% of the people understand what I'm saying. And then there's that one dude that he's lost his mind and he's an absolute nut job. My point to that play is Patrick Mahomes is like Neo from the Matrix, right? It slows down. He's seeing zeros and ones and they're just flying over his head. Patrick Mahomes would have looked off to the right and knew, okay, Travis Kelce is wide open at the sticks on my left. I'm going to just quickly throw it back without really staring at him. Matthew Stafford, probably same thing. J.J. McCarthy, it's sped up for him. And in his mind, he's like, oh, shoot, if I didn't get flushed out the pocket, Justin Jefferson's down there somewhere. I got to throw it. Yeah, you got to throw it outside, though. And then he throws it inside to the safety. It's a pick. That's just the game moving faster probably than his mind was letting him do. Some people are like, oh, he could have fit the dig route in there to Jordan Addison. Maybe, but that's a secondary layered throw. You know, you got to kind of throw it over one defender and get it down before the other defender. He hasn't been great at doing that. You know, those balls have been sailing on him, so maybe he doesn't have confidence in that. So I'd say a full season, and then midway maybe through that second season, a lot of guys figure it out. Look at Drake May. You know, Drake May, people are talking about they would rather draft him than Jaden Daniels right now. So I think it takes like a full season to just take your lumps. Peyton Manning was, again, I go back to it. Peyton Manning was like 3-12 or 3-13 his rookie year. It takes time.
Arif, what do you got?
Yeah, I want to hone in on the Caleb Williams stuff a little bit. So he has been very good under pressure recently, but that is not historically how he's necessarily performed under pressure, and these things tend to wash themselves out. But I see all of these like mobile quarterbacks respond to the Vikings under pressure to just make big plays, right? We saw Jalen Hurts do it. We saw Justin Herbert do it. Did not really see Lamar Jackson do it. That was nice. But I mean, the Vikings are like 4th in the NFL at pressure rate. Obviously, not having Jonathan Grenard potentially, that's going to cause some problems, but they're very good at designing pressures and getting in the backfield. Do you think that this is a kind of a situation where the Vikings have the ability to put so much pressure on Caleb Williams that it reduces the effectiveness we've seen from him, or is he just going to escape like people always seem to from the Vikings?
So, yeah, his legs are his ability. So, Ben Johnson, we know he had Jared Goff dialed up, right? 8 for 8, 16 for 16, like 8 for 9 under pressure. What was it? 9 for 11 under pressure versus the Vikings. And when I did the Jared Goff play breakdowns last year, a lot of it was that secondary go. You know, he would do the go and he would have a second go in order to try to give him something. That's where I think the Minnesota Vikings can come. Like if Flores can kind of do what he did against Lamar Jackson, which is don't give it away too soon, he might have something there. But yeah, Caleb Williams' ability to use his legs, get outside the pocket, you know, still make the throw down the field. It seems like Ben Johnson's got him a little bit like doing what he's supposed to do, which is don't throw the ball into double coverage to your left when you're running to your right. You know, don't lay down flat and think you're Patrick Mahomes and try to make a Superman throw. It feels like Ben Johnson's gotten them to relax a little bit with that. So yeah, I think Ben Johnson can beat him with his arm though. Like I just think he has Brian Flores' number figured out. Like he has, like, he understands what Flores wants to do, and it's that chess match of how much pressure do I still bring without giving up, the edge? Because if you come up the middle and the edges aren't set, Caleb Williams is willing to take 6 to 7, 18 yards on some of these plays, and that's where they're going to get hurt. So, I mean, I think the only answer is you can't give them any keys, because Ben Johnson is good at that, getting to the line of scrimmage with 19 seconds, I think is what it's been. And that gives them time to do 2 goals. If you come to the line with 7, 8 seconds, then that's when the Vikings kind of thrive. But if you give them time, I don't know if anybody saw the Cam Bynum Hollywood blitz where he got the strip sack on a quarterback. It's funny seeing it from that angle, because in his mind, he's like, look at my acting job. I don't know if he actually commented on his own video from the NFL. He's like, look at my acting job. Like, I really made it look like I was. It's like, dude, nobody believes looking at this video that you weren't coming. Like, you literally look like a little kid that's like, when mom looks away, I'm going to take this cake. When mom looks away, I'm going to take this cake. Like, it totally, you totally could see it, but it's just so funny that it did get the quarterback. Like, the quarterback in his mind, like, oh, he's going to drop again. He's going to drop again.
This is so obvious. No way is he.
He's like purposely looking away, looking at his coach, like, oh, I don't know there's a quarterback right there. I'm acting like there's no quarterback over there. But that's the kind of stuff where you got to do that. You got to do the Hollywood once and drop, and then you got to do the Hollywood again and go. Like, it's a game of 70 plays. So you got to work that in there, where I'm pretty sure, I saw some comments saying, yeah, you got them because you did drop the last 2 plays. So that was part of it. Cam Bynum had done that and dropped the last 2 plays, and then that play he came. So, I think that's
movie, man.
Movie.
And the Colts are eating that up too. They're posting the movie sign, everything. They're eating it up.
Of course.
But yeah,
So
but
happy for
I think that's part of it though. Being able to utilize. And again, do we have that? Who is our guy who does that? Do we have a safety that's doing that right now?
It's not Theo. It's not really Harry either.
No, yeah.
Right. We don't really have that. We're missing that piece of the defense too. Where you have a guy that's fast enough to run with the quarterback, good enough to cover a running back or tight end out the backfield, and a good enough tackler to be an open field with a guy. So, that's another wrinkle that the Vikings, we act like it wasn't a big deal to lose Cam Bynum, but it's going to be clear this weekend if Theo doesn't go either, how they handle Caleb Williams, and if they don't have Grenard. Because again, I brought this up. If they lose this game, that might be all she wrote. I heard what's his name from NBC does the show, Florio. He said the Vikings need to go 2-3 these next 3 games, win 2 out of 3 games. I hope that's the answer, because I don't know if 2-3, 2 out of 3 is I think 3. They need to win all 3 of these next 3 games. I think it's one of those type of seasons.
It feels like you need 10 in this NFC. You got to have 10 wins by the end. So you've got basically 2 losses left that you can afford. Last one, Braun, for Ron Johnson.
Yeah, well, so we're about to talk about the kind of future prospects for Jalen Nailor, but I wanted to get your take on, let's say that Nailor does hit the free agent market this offseason. Are teams, would teams give him a wide receiver 2 deal that would maybe eclipse what the Vikings would be willing to give him as a wide receiver 3?
Yeah, I think so. I think the last game alone, if I'm his agent, I'm putting that film out there now. I'm talking to other teams about, this is a guy that can get you 120 plus yards. Now here's the one thing though too, and the Vikings can use this. Look at KJ Osborne. He thought his bread was going to be buttered somewhere else, and it never really worked out to leave. So some guys it does work out, others it doesn't. That's where Nailor has to figure out what is his worth to this team. I'm interested to see this weekend. I'm going to be keeping an eye specifically on how much Jalen Nailor is used and where he's used, because I want to see if the Vikings are kind of, making a thought process to, do we need to make this a true 3 receiver team and maybe move on from the tight end? They have to figure that out, because the tight end right now is their wide receiver 3 in their minds. But it's can we move on from a high paid tight end and we go a true Colts? If you think about the Colts with Brandon Stokely, Reggie Wayne, and Marvin Harrison, Dallas Clark was good, but it wasn't one of those, we're going to pay him the most money until it was time to move on from Brandon Stokely. They kind of figured it out. And that's where I'm wondering where the Vikings go with this. is TJ Hawkinson the long-term answer? Because it feels like he's just declining every year.
Ron, how many text messages will you exchange with Spice Adams between now and until the end of the game?
Oh man. I don't know. I haven't texted him yet because I haven't really I got the Gophers game tomorrow. So I've been like knee deep in Dante Moore footage, which man, this Oregon film is so sexy. It is
Yes.
so
Oh my God.
like it is. Oh my goodness. I don't even. This is not the Oregon show, so I want to get into it. Maybe me and Luke could talk about it tomorrow.
Sideline throws, man.
It is. Oh my God. It is sexy. It's just in the tight end. Like they have two gigantic tight ends that like the Vikings need to keep an eye on. Like I don't know if they would be there to be drafted in that spot, but man, both their tight ends are so good and their receivers are so good. At like it was 3rd and 9 and they got a first down on a wide receiver tunnel screen. Like who does that? Like it's just so sexy. But and their running backs, I mean, their running backs are good too. I mean, it's just they're loaded. Like their running backs are legit. They are the number 1 running team in the Big Ten, and nobody's even talking about that. Like you assume Oregon's a passing team. They are a running team right now. Like they got big boys up front. Like if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I know Oregon in the past, you wouldn't look at their running backs and stuff, but this is the year to look at their running backs and their tight ends because Dan Lanning is doing something that's not normal for Oregon football. But as far as me and Spice, I'm gonna start texting him tomorrow, probably like right during the Gophers game a little bit, maybe right after. We'll do a little banter on Saturday, and then I might try to do a video like because he does that 4 quarters of football thing where he's like watching the game. So I might try to jump in this 4 quarter and FaceTime him. Hopefully the Vikings are winning and I'm up from the stadium. So I'm gonna FaceTime him and maybe try to get in that video and hopefully it's a good me calling him, or maybe it's him calling me to like be like, man, I can't believe JJ McCarthy threw 3 interceptions. Hope not.
Love it, Ron. Thanks for your time as always. Every Thursday, check out the Ron Johnson Show Tuesdays. Check him out on X at 3Ron Johnson. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
When we return, more exploitable matchups in the Bears game. Plus, what is Jalen Nailor's future? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The days are getting shorter right now. It's 5 o'clock. The workday's done. Oh, it's dark. That's no fun. You wake up, there's frost on the ground. You got to warm up the car in the morning. You got to scrape the ice off. Yeah, it feels a little heavier this time of year. You've got gift wrapping. You've got family logistics to plan. Holidays can be a lot of fun. They can also be stressful. So checking in on a teammate or reconnecting with someone you haven't seen in a while, that can lift your spirits. And so can reaching out for therapy. That can make a real difference too. BetterHelp makes that first step easier by connecting you with a licensed therapist online from wherever you might be. They match you with a therapist who fits your needs. Switch anytime if it's not the right match. Very flexible. Over 5 million people have used BetterHelp. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easy to take that first step. Listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon, because taking that step towards support might just leave you wondering, why didn't I do this sooner? Ron Johnson doesn't need Rouge yet. He's got Dante Moore film. I mean, that was just a love fest.
Give him the promo code anyways, though, just in case.
Let's finish up the conversation about some of these Bears backups because they've got a bazillion players that were DNP yesterday. Could be an Olamide Zaccheaus and Luther Burden game. Moore and Adunze both hurt DNP. Doesn't mean they're out, but I'm just going to rattle through some of these backups. Tell me if they scare you at all. Luther Burden, big wide receiver prospect.
Yeah,
Does he play? I feel like he's like 4 snaps a game.
Yeah, like what, 3 for 51, 52
Yeah,
last week,
when he does play, he's pretty good. I actually am kind of confused as to why he doesn't play more. So he does kind of scare me.
Man, these staffs do have a lot in common, huh?
Yeah.
Kyle Monangai.
Okay, 20 snaps a game.
That's not nothing. That's like a Dallas Turner level snaps.
Kyle Monangai, actually kind of good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yet another backup running back that's better than DeAndre Swift.
Imagine.
Just fun fact, when I searched Monangai on PFF, it popped up Kevin Monangai.
Former Vikings running back Kevin Monangai.
I clicked that first. Kevin Monangai. draft year 2015, undrafted in 2015.
Yeah, I remember covering him at training camp, man.
Signed by the Eagles first, and then evidently on the Vikings for a
There's
minute.
a small school guy, not like it wasn't Monmouth.
Villanova.
Wow.
Good call.
Kevin.
Yeah, I think actually the run game has gelled a little bit for the Bears, and I'm glad that the Vikings have strung together a couple of pretty good run defense games, or at least respectable run defense games. If we were coming off of like the Chargers and Eagles game, or the Chargers game, or like what would happen, like Quinshon Judkins, I'd be a little worried. Although I still am. I think just for the rest of the year, going to always be a little worried about the run defense when the other team is semi-competent at it.
Yeah, I guess my primary concern is if they continue to line up Eric Wilson at edge rusher and it's against Darnell Wright.
Yeah, are we not just gonna like send that every play? Like, what? I don't
get it. It's just Darnell Wright's gonna swallow him up. It's not great, dude.
Maybe it's only happening on pass downs. I haven't really looked at that.
We've offended Sam.
Swift was hurt, I want to say 2 weeks ago, right? And then he just came back last week, had a 70 yards, something like that.
And I think Mongai had a pretty good game.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, I think they both had a pretty efficient game.
Oh, Sam's back. But yeah, Swift has only really been productive in the last couple of weeks on these outside runs, so I'm not.
Yeah, that's always him. He always wants to get the edge, and when he does, he can do cool stuff in space. But
an athlete, yeah.
Speaking of edge, the Bears have been using a former 5th round pick, Austin Booker, at edge the last 2 weeks, opposite Montez Sweat since the Odingbo injury.
Is that Kansas Booker. State? Is that what
Kansas?
Kansas. My bad.
Kansas is Austin Booker.
Yeah, a tiny guy, right?
Oh, he was
245.
Was he hurt earlier in the year or something?
He hasn't played until week 9, so that would make sense.
So didn't they just trade for Tryon Shoyinka, right? Like they're clearly not happy with that position. So I guess I'm not scared.
Yeah, which is crazy because like we were talking about after the week 1 game, we were talking about Dio Dangbo, like he had the game of his life. But I mean, I think he just dunked on Justin School, which has I think lulled us into thinking a lot of edge rushers are better than they are.
Well, Dingbo's on IR, so
yeah, he's hurt. He's out.
Yeah.
Tryon Shoyinka played 16 snaps in the Giants game.
Yeah,
that would explain it.
And what's the Montez Sweat deal?
He's pretty good.
I think
he's not had a sack in the last 3 games.
Playing.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like what they're doing opposite him.
Yeah.
Right. No, he's playing a full allotment of snaps. He's having a good 4 straight games with a sack.
Is that right?
Per PFF. Not gospel.
Oh, well, no.
Well, I mean, the sack. I mean, that'll only give him a sack if he logged a sack or a half sack. For our purposes, that counts. I understand like PFF, but the sack counts are fine. Sam.
Well, no, I realize that sometimes though, like if the quarterback, it's like kind of a pseudo scramble and it's like at the line of scrimmage, it's debatable whether that's a rush attempt or a sack.
I guess the NFL also counts it as a sack. So,
and yeah, unless like the spot is debatable, you mean?
Yeah,
whether he got past the line or not.
He's fine. I would say he's like an above average edge defender.
Let's turn the Jalen Nailor conversation into one of our epic foreman's drills.
Start the clock. It's time to execute the 4-minute drill.
Inman obviously tried to bring up Spotrac maybe to look at the Jalen Nailor contract. He's gone.
And he's
gone. All right. I got it.
a minute each on Jalen Nailor's future with the Vikings. He's a pending free agent. I'll start on this. I think that Jalen Nailor is attainable if you can get him. Well, here's my first thought. He's the best Kwesi draft pick when you account for round. Kwesi's got a Jordan Addison pick. We don't know if JJ and Turner are even good picks. He's got Will Reichard, and he's got Jalen Nailor, a 6th-round pick. Jalen Nailor is his best draft pick in 4 drafts that we know of right now. And there's not even that many other players that it's maybe Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins turns out to be a great pick. Maybe Jay Ward is like the next Josh Metellus late bloomer. But there's not that much competition. Kind of insane. I was looking at contract comps. Kevontae Turpin with the Cowboys, 3 years in Dallas, 2 very, very quiet ones, and then had about 420 yards, and that got him a 3-year, $13.5 million contract.
I wouldn't say he was quiet. He just wasn't as a receiver. Like, he was an outstanding returner for Dallas.
Special teamer.
Yeah,
and he came out of the XFL too, right? Like, it's a slightly different.
I wouldn't count him as a comparable. I'm sorry, Sam.
It's a different situation, so, but I see what you mean. That
$4.5 million per year, is that a number? Like, that number, like, for a wide receiver, Kwesi's going to structure the contract and backload it and use a void year, like, that's nothing. Yeah,
if you get Nailor for $4.5 million a year, especially once you account for the fact that that's fake, I think that'd be a great Jalen Nailor contract. I think that's doable despite the Vikings' potential upcoming cap issues, which we've talked about a couple of times in terms of flexibility and severity. $4.5 million for Nailor would be dope. I actually would be surprised if he went for $4.5 million. To me,
that'd be light. Or
to me, I would say probably minimum $6 million. I wouldn't be shocked if he got 8 on the open market.
I felt the same way about Osborne, and then he went for like nothing. What was it? 1 year, 4?
Apparently, everyone saw through that because he just like got cut.
Yeah. Washington didn't work out. Yeah, that was really surprising to me. But Nailor could have a 500 to 600 yard season with some really good tape this year if he stays healthy. Like, health would be the knock if he suffered something.
Yeah, when you get these wide receiver threes who are these day 3 guys that end up becoming, reasonable rotational guys that aren't the star in the offense, they kind of just play their rookie contract and go. I think about like Jarius Wright, KJ Osborne, like these guys just play out their rookie contract and then they go try to make a little more money elsewhere. He won't get anything remotely resembling a wide receiver 2 contract here, obviously. But that's kind of why I asked Ron, hey, do you think he would get that elsewhere? Because if he thinks that he can go somewhere and get paid 6, 7, 8 million, then he's going to take that. And I don't know how far a negotiation with Jalen Nailor would even get, not because the Vikings don't want him back, but because Nailor knows he can do better somewhere. And that's fair. That's how it goes. And now you need your next, day 3 wide receiver to come show up. And I guess in this case, it's day 2 guy in Ty Felton. They kind of have the succession plan ready, and that's part of why they drafted him. Now, will that work out?
Right.
Great question. But that's the intention.
I want to posit, Sam, this is not a wide receiver, but I think it is a reasonable person to bring up to kind of, concretize this. Tyler Conklin, 5 years before Nailor hits the market, gets $6.75 million a year from the Jets, right? This isn't a cap environment that is more restrictive, far more restrictive than the one that Nailor is going to enter the market in. And I know he's a tight end, and I know he got, kind of more snaps than Nailor did as a product of like the injuries to Hawkinson and stuff like that. But I don't think it's like a bad player to bring up as a comparison, because I think we all thought Tyler Conklin was pretty good, but not like outstanding, right? And I don't think a ton of people thought he was necessarily a starting tight end. He could become a starting tight end quality, but I think that this is the kind of guy that, in free agency teams would want to bet on upside. And I think that's what happened. And I think for Nailor, it would be probably something similar. And so if like a tight end that was fine, got $6.75 million 5 years before Nailor hits the market, I wouldn't shock me if he goes for around that much or more. Like that's kind of my concern, is that he might end up in a more inflated market than the 4.5.
I could see like a world where there's a market inefficiency in paying your wide receiver 2 as much as they've been going for, and trying to find wide receiver 2s at value. And Jalen Nailor could be the type of receiver that fits that bill, where you give him a really nice promotion in money. You give him $8 to $10 million a year, maybe pay him more than he's earned per se on paper, and that becomes and you try to fill your wide receiver 2 maybe by committee with a couple of those deals. The Vikings are going to face the Jordan Addison question 2 off seasons from now. I tend to think that Jordan Addison will remain a Viking after this contract. Certainly on the 5th-year option
with like Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle. There's a pretty easy blueprint to get that deal done, and I think they'll be able to pull that off.
We had a question earlier. I think it was Macho Meach. If Dallas Turner's fifth-year option isn't picked up and joins Scene in Booth, is Kwesi still our GM? So that would be a decision after next year. If I mean, you got to add McCarthy in the conversation there. Like if McCarthy's fifth-year option,
McCarthy looks good. All of that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the whole draft is McCarthy.
Yeah.
It's also, I'm not going to make predictions about who's getting fired on 3 Black Mondays from now. So
yeah, like 3 years from now. If by the time they're making decisions on the fifth-year option for Dallas Turner and McCarthy and every other draft pick that we don't have strong feelings about yet does work out and McCarthy doesn't, that's a more interesting conversation, I think.
Yeah.
To just boof the first 3 drafts almost entirely, except for like Jordan Addison and Jalen Nailor, and then to nail the next 2. Except for the most important position, would be, I think, absolutely fascinating and create Take City. It would be
Take City, yeah.
Yeah, it would be an incredible scenario.
Every time somebody's done like a long-term draft study on like what the differentiating fact, who are the good GMs and stuff, they can like never find it.
Yeah.
like every time you get, the Saints absolutely Yahtzeeing on 2017 or any of those, and then like the next 2-3 draft later, it's the worst thing you've ever seen. And like sometimes it's vice versa and stuff. So like it wouldn't be crazy if Kwesi just kind of oopsed his way into some better draft picks just because it's so unknown. There is an element of you could just kind of luck into accidentally picking the right guy, even if you have no idea what you're doing.
You take a look at, who many people consider to be the best GM in football, or at least a high level GM, Howie Roseman. You take a look 7 years ago, everyone wanted to fire him.
Yeah.
Like
the guy who Jalen Ragered over Justin Jefferson is,
yeah.
He's like a pretty good drafter. Like did that. Like it happens.
Yeah. And it turns out either draft Georgia guys or draft according to the consensus board. And it seemingly has worked out a little bit, but even that's a dart throw, right? So yeah, Eric DaCosta, same thing. A bunch of people were praising him. The last couple of years have been a little bit more rough for him. Okay. The one thing is that it's difficult to be a good GM. I don't think it's particularly tough to be a bad GM. That's the concern, right? That like you can be consistently bad, and the problem is we don't have great data on how consistently bad you can be because those guys get fired, right? Before there's enough of a sample size for them being bad to spread out. It's only the good GMs who then can't beat the market after a period of time that we have data for. And so the concern is Kwesi is one of the bad GMs. I just find it interesting that we're continuously talking about Kwesi being a bad GM because the draft results have been bad. There's no question about that. But we also have an expectation about the team based off of the amount of talent on the roster, which is his job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. He's solved his own problems.
Yeah.
Which,
how sustainable that is, I don't know. But so far,
you're going to lose. You, in a way, already have lost Harrison Smith and like some of these older players, and you're not going to have the young guys. What are you going to do about that? But you are going to have an opportunity to fix those things. It is always funny with these conversations because, the biggest sample that we have, the biggest data set we have is on the first draft, and the first draft sucks real bad. Yeah. So it's always going to be the overwhelming, data set is the worst one.
Yeah. Our anchoring bias is anchored on just this catastrophe.
Just this total mess. Yeah. But what I will say is I think Donovan Jackson's turning out great. He's at least good for a rookie. Sometimes he's just good, period. So that one's working out nice.
Yeah, I'd say he's pretty up and down, but the median for where he's up and down is much higher than we typically expect for a rookie guard.
Yeah, like guards in particular are always supposed to be about the year 2, year 3 leap, and many of them do just kind of show up out of nowhere after struggling early, and then they do a lot better. So it's nice that we're on that baseline. So that one feels pretty good so far.
So far.
Any Gray Zabel related regret? Isn't he doing pretty well?
Never. No.
Okay.
I think he. I may have bungled that one.
I've got 2.
It was, my God, this guy needs to move to guard, which he did. So I guess that's okay. But I was also pretty skeptical of how that would work.
What's interesting to me is that it's the other NDSU guy that went to the same team that I thought was more interesting and better, but he went undrafted, and Gray Zabel was he was a first rounder, right? And I think Sundell has been playing better than Zabel. Maybe, I don't know. PFF says so, but also that was a conclusion I drew before I just looked it up right now.
Just looking for a way to support that bias. I have 2 touchdown scoring parlays that cannot lose next. We're brought to you today by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, dozens of them. Don't get paid for those. On Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of the sports season. Could be NFL, NBA, both, cross-sport entries. No better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play and win. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. Takes less than 60 seconds. Play anywhere Prize Picks operates, like California, Texas, Georgia. You can put together an entry with Sunday football games and NBA games at the same time. There's also some great stacks features where you can pick more on like Steph Curry's threes, assists, and points all in the same entry. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Guess who's back? Back again. Luke Inman's back, and it's time for our Week 11 bets. Here's where we stand. Started with $1,000 mythical dollars. Luke Braun steady in the lead at $26.98. Arif Hasan is actually back in the not in the negative, but he's lost money from the original 1,000. He's down to $9.59. Luke Inman minus $21.92 at a 6-14 record. And I'm just compounding my losses now with parlays. I'm at 5-15, minus 39.33. That all changes today.
You owe us a Prize Picks, by the way.
I do. It has not been paid out. You guys need to hold me accountable. Luke Braun, you are the first to go today. Then it's me. Then it's Inman. Then it's Arif. The minimum range today. Again, we've got minimums, mid-level bets, and maximums. The minimum is 110 to 440. The medium is 440 to 770. The max is 770 to 1,100 because it's week 11.
Well, my strategy of just kind of betting against the Vikings in as many ways as I can think of has apparently paid off very well. So I guess I'll continue to do that and take a Justin Jefferson under.
Oh, man.
I don't feel great about this one. So I think I'm going to burn one of my minimums and just put, I'm not going to go full minimum. I'll put 200 on Justin Jefferson under 71.5 at minus 114.
All right. That means I am next. Here's my first of 2 touchdown scorer parlays. Colston Loveland and Jordan Addison. 1K, max bet 1K to win 82.96 and 43 cents.
So that would put you in first place.
Oh yeah,
by a mile. By a mile.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Love
and
it.
what are the? What
It's
are you
possible.
Doing? Receiving yards, or what are you doing?
No, touchdown.
Oh, touchdown. Sorry. Okay, I missed it. I was like, man, those are good odds.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Whoa.
So that's like Jordan Addison over 30 yards, right? I'll do that too.
Inman, you're next.
You know where I'm going. Vikings 1-6 plus 2. This is my Jaguars. Okay, they're due. Like Arif always says, they're due. Plus 270. Getting good value there. I'm gonna burn one of my minimums as well, though. I'm gonna go max minimum at 439.99.
439.99. Arif Hasan, pick 2.
I kind of use more mediums, but I still like my medium plus minimum strategy. So I'm gonna do that for like one more week. My minimum is 110, so minimum for Kyle Monangai touchdown plus 185.
All right.
And then I'll use my medium on Jordan Addison 40 plus yards minus 182, 440.
Minus 182. Juicy odds. Luke Inman, pick number 2.
There's a parlay sitting in here. Vikings to win and the under 48.5. That's at plus 210.
Oh, that feels good.
Plus 210 and stay consistent. 439.99. Another minimum.
Back to me. I've got another touchdown scorer parlay. I 100% guarantee I will hit one from each.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
if you just would have swapped the combo.
Aaron Jones and Caleb Williams with the legs. 1,000 to win $11,347.12.
I hope you get it, man. I
really hope you
I'm
get it.
rooting for you.
I don't,
really am.
but also that's crazy. That feels more plausible than plus 11,000 does. That's
It's tough to get a QB rushing one in there, but
Yeah.
Caleb has done that in like 4 of the last 5 games.
Sam
He's
knows
gonna
what
do
he's
it again.
doing. Sam
Yeah,
knows
just
clearly.
Long play.
as you
Never
can
out of
tell
it.
from the results, he definitely knows what he's doing.
Who are we to doubt him?
Luke Braun.
Well, every time the Vikings have been favored, I've done the same thing. I'm going to do it again. Give me that Bears money line and give me every penny I can put on it.
Woo!
Max
Plus
bet.
130, Bears money line. Max it.
So that's 1,100 to win 1,400-ish.
That's
Bears
almost my
money line.
entire lead.
God, I hope the Vikings win.
Well, he
I
knows
still
that
hope
I'm.
the Vikings win. If the Vikings win, I will be happier. But now, if they lose, I'm leaving here with
Hedge
something.
your bet.
Yeah, emotional
Hedge your
hedging.
day.
I get
Yeah,
it.
hedge your
I'm
day.
leaving here with something.
I have a chance to be. Let's see. Plus 15,000 if I win both of those.
I have a chance to win the Powerball today. I do. You laugh.
Hey,
Here's okay.
that's a lie. That's a lie. Drawing is until Saturday.
I have a chance today to win the Powerball.
Thank you for watching, listening, commenting, subscribing. We will be live after the Sunday game. Luke Inman hosts. Ron Johnson joins. Luke Braun joins. I join on the reaction show, the Vikings Squad Show. Check out Arif Hasan's work at Wide Left. Check out Locked On Vikings with Luke Braun. And also check out Luke Inman on the Locked On Wolves postcasts after Wolves games. They play Friday, NBA Cup, and the Gophers Friday. Wow, big sports night. Ron Johnson's going to be lighting a candle and watching Dante Moore with the Ducks against the Gophers. Can't wait for that, and looking forward to chatting with you again on Sunday on the Squad Show. Thanks, everyone.